So if this genetically modified food has had what the geneticists have termed junk DNA removed from its DNA strands, then this is going to remove certain sections of what they term junk DNA from your DNA strands. The removal of this junk DNA means the spaces in your DNA changes, and the length of the waves created by your DNA chain also change. The changing of these waves totally destroys your ability to access these higher realms of consciousness. And there has also been speculation that this may do even more profound damage than even what I'm referring to. So this is very, very important stuff. It's very important that you attempt to avoid genetically modified food. Companies like Monsanto, these companies have so much to answer for. And speaking of Monsanto, I've been meaning to mention on the last couple of shows that Monsanto was recently awarded Company of the Year by Forbes magazine. This is an absolute disgrace, folks. This company has done more damage to the environment, more damage to the food chain, more damage to the people than any other company in history. So it sort of shows where the morals of Forbes magazine lies, doesn't it? So anybody out there who reads Forbes magazine, I would suggest that you don't buy that rubbish anymore. If you have a subscription with Forbes magazine, cancel it. Send them a message that we don't appreciate their promotion of the destruction of the food chain by their support of a criminal corporation such as Monsanto, whose only claim to fame is their wanton destruction of the environment and the food chain on the planet. So this is why it's important to avoid genetically modified food, folks, and it's also why it's important to maintain a state of bliss, to put yourself in a state of love. The way I can achieve what I perceive to be a state of bliss, the most blissful state that I can achieve anyway, is when I put myself in a state of love. I put myself in a state of love by truly understanding what this reality is. Once you understand that this is simply an electromagnetic matrix, this whole reality, folks, is simply an electromagnetic matrix based on our perception. When you connect to this field, and you start to understand the true nature of reality, what's to fear, what's not to love. I've had a lot of people telling me that they look at this information and at first it's interesting, but then once they believe it, they become fearful. They become stressed at what's going on in the world. The way to alleviate that stress, the way to understand things properly, is to understand the nature of reality, folks. Connect with the field. Once you know what this reality is, what's to stress, when you understand that it's all just energy, it's all simply energy, two polarities, love and fear. That's it. It's that simple. There's nothing to fear. I don't fear anything the New World Order has to offer. The New World Order is floundering. The architects of the New World Order are absolutely floundering. Nothing that they've tried has worked. The AIDS virus didn't work. The financial crash didn't work. The swine flu didn't work. Nothing has worked so far, folks. No one's rebelled. There's no revolution happening. There's no violence. Nothing's working for them. Absolutely nothing's working for them. They're running scared. Sure, that doesn't mean we should be complacent and allow a prison state to be constructed around us. Of course not. But we need to understand that this is only going to be constructed if we construct it. We are the workers. We are the ones that police ourselves. We're the ones that hold this system up. Are we going to continue to hold this system up, or are we going to do what's right? When you look at all the things that I've talked about on the show today, the war in Iraq, all of these things, this isn't right. Recoding the DNA of our food, this isn't right. None of these things are right, folks. I mean, even the employees and scientists who work for companies like Monsanto, what are you people doing? Quit. Stop supporting a criminal company. It's ridiculous what you're doing. Messing with the genetic structure of the planet, creating cancers, I mean, folks, you can look at the rise in cancer and you can directly map the graph and it'll track the rise in genetically modified food, the rise in pesticides and all these sorts of things. They've got you eating food, folks, that produces its own pesticide. I mean, what is that all about? But anyway, off all that for a moment. Look, what I'm trying to say here is that, sure, they're making it negative, folks, but look how many people are waking up. It is literally snowballing. I googled my name the other day and I found thousands of sites that are hosting this type of material, that are getting this message out to people. That the way to defeat this system is through non-compliance to the system. It is we who hold it up. We are the base of the pyramid, folks. All we have to do is start removing ourselves from the system. Removing ourselves from the system doesn't mean we have to go without anything. We just simply have to start helping each other, start doing the right thing. Because this whole system functions on you doing the wrong thing. It counts on you doing the wrong thing. It counts on you profiting from people. It puts you in a position where you have to make money at the expense of other people. Stop doing it. Start helping each other. Money doesn't mean anything anyway. It's just paper. It's simply a tool of control. It's a mechanism used to control society, to keep people always in a state of need and never in a state of abundance. Keep people always struggling to pay the bills that really have no right to exist at all. You need to rise above this type of mentality and you need to start helping each other. If people can rise above the mentality of profit and embrace a state of empathy, a state of compassion towards others, and start doing the right thing in all that they do, the whole system breaks down. That's how to fix it all. I know I say that a lot. I know I repeat myself on so many shows, but this is absolutely how to fix the system, folks. All we have to do is truly connect with each other. Oh, I'm probably babbling a lot again, aren't I, folks? But what I'm trying to say to you all here is that the information that you're receiving isn't bad, it's just information. What is bad, what is making you depressed, what's making you sad is the emotion that you are allowing yourself to attach to this information. Go out and have a good life. Do what you enjoy doing. The world is a beautiful place and it's here for you to enjoy. But don't comply with the corrupt system. Don't support all of this stuff. You can stand up and speak out about this stuff. And you can talk to police officers about it. You can do all of this stuff, but you can still maintain a state of love. You can still maintain a state of joy. You can still enjoy life. It's important that you don't allow yourself to get stressed. When you get stressed, you create sickness in your body. I find all of the information that I receive about the New World Order, about government corruption, the more I see through the system, the more empowered I feel. I simply don't stress at it, folks. I can see it all there, but I know what holds it up, and I firmly believe that humanity will prevail. I believe that we will get through this crisis that we're in. I think that the powers that be probably have to make it a lot worse yet, so that more people wake up. But that's the way it always goes, folks, and the worse they make it, the more people wake up, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The more negative it gets, the more positive the consciousness gets. So I say bring it on. I'm ready. I think that we live in one of the most exciting times and one of the most important times in the history of man, in the history of this planet. I think that the next few years are going to be truly historical years, and I think the years that we are already living and that we have lived in the last 20 years are also truly historical years. The whole message that I've tried to bring people on all of these shows, I hope, is one of empowerment. I know that I've brought a lot of negative information to you, but I've also tried to present solutions that may seem a little spiritual to some. But I'm sure that if you really stop and think about it, and you understand the nature of how your DNA works, understand that all is energy, and understand that if we do make this connection with each other, suddenly all the problems are solved. I don't think there can be any denying it if you stop and you take the time to look at what I'm saying. Empathy and compassion is the way to go. It is the way to solve these problems, folks. And I don't know how anybody could possibly find a flaw in that approach. I think that we are at a very important time. I think that the Earth is definitely going through some changes. It's not going to be this big cataclysm the way many people think. It's not going to be a shift into the fifth dimension like many of the New Agers think. It's going to be a different state of consciousness. And that consciousness may be one of many things. But it will ultimately be what we, the collective consciousness, make it. There are certain forces in control of this planet who are manipulating it so that it ends up in this police state that they're creating. That's the shift that consciousness will take. It will be to further move into fear, to the extent where we see the need to live in a police state for fear of imaginary terrorists.